I'm not sure if you've heard this background music in the past, but
It's a little groovy.
it's very groovy and it's also it's kind of like a jazz flute element to it.
I dig that. I don't mind that at all.
Well, well, look at you. I'm gonna do, so when we start, I call it the modesty shield because everyone's kind of getting ready, kind of doing their thing. But you three did not need to get ready. You came prepared, even though you did not know you would be doing it. But here we go. This is SundAGE. It's the community edition, and we're talking about Expanse, of course. Which introduce yourselves, and they'll quickly understand why you're here.
Hi, I am John Baltina, and I run Abraxas Precipice, the Expanse role-playing game actual play. We play on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. I'm on twitch.tv/OnlyPlayWizards. I'm joined today by two very special people.
Hello, everybody. My name is Indrani. My pronouns are she, they. I am a handmade dice maker, a TTRPG streamer, and the co-founder of Daisies and Dragons. I'm also a massive Expanse fan, and that's why I'm here to talk about the RPG.
Hello, everyone. I'm Amir Hamza, also known as Dimples and Dice around the internet. I am a professional GM, storyteller. I do a Vampire the Masquerade channel. I have a all BIPOC group called Rolling These 20s, where I'm the co-founder of. And yeah, I'm actually in a game with Andrani, and I'm a huge Expanse fan myself.
That's awesome. I'm personally a fan of both of you because we all sat down and had conversations and did some networking, and it was phenomenal. What I loved about it was we all kind of sat and not really sure kind of what we would talk about or what we would expect, but we went right to like beyond remedial. Like we went straight to like the top of the discussion was very complex and very interesting. The thing I love the most about it is that everybody that was at that mixer, they're like multi hyphenates. They're doing so much stuff and they're doing it really, really well. I wanted to real quick, what was that? Dungeons and.
It's Daisies and Dragons,
Oh,
and
yes.
it is India's largest TTRPG community. We also have a Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Daisies, which is DESIS, Dragons, which everybody knows how to spell dragons. So come find us. We stream a lot of uh, different types of TTRPGs. Despite the name, we don't just do Dungeons and Dragons. We have a billion other TTRPGs that we play. We have a stream running right now, which is a Fate Core game, which is like a Power Rangers meets Bollywood meets Kaiju's. So it's mechs versus
Nice.
Kaiju's that we're playing. So come check us out. We also have a Discord server. So yeah,
So,
come say hello.
a quick question for you. When did you get into tabletop roleplay? Like, and this is kind of for all of you, but I'd love to hear from you personally.
Okay, well, so this is gonna be an embarrassing story, but I'll tell it anyway.
Nice, perfect.
When I was 11 years old, I found this one of these virtual worlds where people would just like have pixelated avatars and go talk to each other. My parents didn't care about internet safety apparently, but I landed up on one of these, and there were a bunch of role plays like Harry Potter role play, Star Wars role play, this and that, and that's how I got into role playing. But eventually, I kind of grew out of that. I was like, this is fun, but I'm kind of a little too old for this now. Which is how I came across tabletop role playing games like D&D and Pathfinder and like all of these amazing games. And now I'm at Gen Con, which is crazy.
What I love about that, real quick, is that you immediately graduated from kind of a digital space where you're kind of playing along to then just running community, like just getting out there and doing a thing. I love
Yeah,
that.
because like 2 years ago, I was telling you folks this that like the Indian space was just 70 people on a WhatsApp group together, and now there's over 1,000 people in our community, which makes me really happy. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of fun things to do in the space, and I want more people to experience it. So yeah.
Fantastic. We'll share a link both to your Twitter and to the
Thank
site
you.
as
Yeah,
well.
you can. People can find me on Twitter at Nonagon Dice. So NONAGONDICE. That's me on the internet.
Love it. Okay, and then how about you?
There you go.
So I've had I'm relatively new to this in comparison to a lot of people. I only started doing tabletop in like 2016. One of my friends in a video gaming group asked me if I wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. We went and did a campaign that went for 2 years. But when that ended, he asked me, did I want to do like a big thing with the community where there's like it was 40 plus players, 7 GMs, all in a combined world. So
Wow.
this is the first time I've ever ran a game. And so I took that and I kept getting feedback like, Prince, you're the best GM that we've ran. Dimples, please run more stuff for us. I want to be in your campaigns. And I was like, okay, so maybe I'm good at this. And then once the pandemic hit, I had a home game that ended and I just wanted to hang out with people and really like expand. And I made a Twitch channel. I recruited a bunch of people and then it's just gone from there. Like I've been at PAX Unplugged on panels for diversity in tabletop. I've been at Roll20Con, like so many things. And I was like, all because I was like, you know what, I'm bored and I don't want to like not have people to talk to. So be my friends and play games with me.
I love that. And that's how like a lot of problems are solved, right? Like you're like, I need a thing. I'm going to make it. I'm going to build it. I love that. I love that. And I will say as well that GMs don't normally start like that. Like with 7, like a trial by fire for sure.
So you were asking about how we got started in
Well,
tabletop
yeah,
in general?
but I had a very specific question for
Oh,
you
please.
because
Let's do
you are a streamer. You love tabletop role play games, but you also teach this.
Yeah, I teach a class at the University of California, Merced, titled Dungeons and Dragons Skills IRL. It's a freshman introductory class where the students can look at like tabletop role playing games and see how they can use them for different purposes or research about them. And it's pretty open ended class. Honestly, it's just that's just the general topic that guides the class. It's a lot of fun, and I get a lot of different perspectives on it. And I get to meet a lot of different students from all over the world and from all different backgrounds, and they have different interests in the games. And some are like have never even heard of the stuff, and then some are like, oh, I play like Die Hard, and so I love that diversity of experience, both in terms of just tabletop, but also backgrounds. I always want to hear whatever people have to say about everything.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that there is, tabletop role play gamers are the best storytellers in the world. Like, just better than they're better than trained Toastmasters. Like, they're just, I mean, truly, they are. They are our, they are the modern day bards doing their thing. And the thing I like too about what you do is that you spent a lot of time. You really invest in like the production quality, and you've got a phenomenal cast, many of whom are friends of Green Ronin. Abraxas Precipice is fun to watch. It's like,
oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a really good group, and I think that's what brings Abraxas Precipice together so well. And we're really happy with how far we've come with the Expanse role playing game. We've been doing it now for over a year. We're about to have our 50th episode.
nice, congratulations!
Yeah. And our big celebration is that it's all coincidence that this happened, but we have Jacob Mundell from the Expanse television show playing with us all of August. And we somehow were blessed by that. Turns out he's a big Starfighter fan.
Nice.
So he likes RPGs, and he's a big nerd. So we're very happy to have him on and tell a great story with the role playing game.
The way you have been able to snag guests to come and be a part of things has just been really remarkable. It's a lesson.
I've been told that even actually Maria was saying I can't believe some of the people that you pulled in. And I'm like, there's people like you just ask and.
I think that if you come at people with a very authentic ask, with some passion, and they see it, and they're clearly like, okay, this isn't somebody who's going to tarnish my reputation or do something that's...
Well, and hopefully not. But I'm sorry to break it to you too, but it's over. This was a lot of it is that they actually are just intrigued by the setting and by the game, and that I told them it's a smooth system, and I do a curated, guided character generation with them. And then, but they're also interested in playing a hard sci-fi system, so not like a fantasy, not like mystical science. It's all very science-based, and they like that. Like that's the thing I like about the Expanse is it makes me critically think through the entire circumstances. It is a very lethal environment to try to operate in.
Right.
You have to be conscientious that everything out there wants to tear you apart. Like will tear you apart.
Right.
So
either compact you or spread you.
Or just suffocate. I mean, that's a constant threat. I mean, that's just it. So yeah, it's very precarious, and I like that we have to take care when we really think through it. And I in a sense too, that's kind of interesting because it kind of pulls you back to like early D&D stuff where it's like the dungeon crawl and you're thinking through the circumstances.
Yeah.
But this has a great political background, and we can bring all different cultures into it. And that's one thing I love about it is all the cultures that are like represented and extrapolated in this 200-300
To
years in
look
the
to the
future.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even
and
to the degree that
well,
like belters
and-
will have a body size or type that's
yeah, but
different
that's not
than
even a cultural issue. That's just straight up like how space messes your body.
that's right. But yeah,
Um,
so I wanted to ask you folks what I like about what John does is he also leaves room for the role play, and there's a lot of like theatrical engagement. How do you feel about that kind of stuff for your games?
I mean, that is the way I run games, and it is what appeals to me as a player. So, really getting into the cinematic elements and really digging in on the danger,
Yeah,
because it makes the players actually think. And when your players are thinking, as a GM, I'm like, that's the best feeling, is because you're like, this decision matters. Like
yeah,
what you're doing, it matters. And I like systems that really help bring that in, and that's why the Expanse appealed to me. I was like, oh, there's a game about this world
yeah.
where it is dangerous, but it's not always just bleak, crush you down with like sad stuff. It's just that's the way of the world. This is if people are living their best lives in this
It's about
world too.
perseverance, really, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and that is super cool, and that appeals to the way I like. I'm sorry, that appeals the way that I like to run games and play in games.
Yeah. Well, so now the Expanse role playing game is powered by the Adventure Game Engine. And John, you want to talk a little bit about how you use that in your stream? And feel free, anyone, to jump in if you. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Age system. My first experience with that was Dragon Age back in 2010, I think 2009 when that came out, and the Expanse version of it is an evolution of it, where it's just a basic 3d6. That's why I like it, because like if you forgot your d20 or whatever, you can go raid Grandma's game cabinet and you got your dice and you're ready to go.
That's right.
Even and like you're supposed to have the extra colored die, the off colored die. And I was telling Maria from our stream, I was like, yeah, sometimes when we forgot that extra colored die, what we would do is just say whatever dice is closest to you is a drama die.
Okay, sure.
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a random die. So I mean, it's just you have to improv, and that's part of the game. And it's a really smooth system. You can use it as you can go really crunchy with it if you want to, or you can just do it like, hey, this is just casual. Don't worry about it.
That's right. Yeah.
And I like the stunt system where you generate stunt points with certain roles, and then you can like use those to really make these like cinematic. I describe them as like being customizable criticals.
Yeah. That's I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine. But
Go ahead.
copyrighted,
Copyright.
yeah,
Yeah.
boom. But yeah, it's you can kind of like make those different embellishments, and the criticals aren't just for combat; it's also for like like my favorite term in that book is social stunts. I feel like I did a few of those in high school, and
I
but
still do them
but even
now.
like economical stunts when you're trying to spend money, like it's really neat and how flexible and how much it gives you.
Yeah.
And I love that it's also compatible. You can pull a lot of materials from like Modern Age and other systems if you want to, which
Age
I
is
love.
very complementary. We've got
Yeah.
Fantasy Age, Modern Age. We've got
And there is differences between Modern Age and Expanse, but it's like it's not enough that it's going to be prohibitive and a lot of work.
not a lot of math work that's going to get in your way. There's some shifts and adjustments to be made. But talk about the churn.
Oh, the churn. Okay, well, the churn's a mechanic and is kind of unique to it, where it's this mechanic where as you spend your fortune or you push the heroes have like push their luck, it ticks up from 0 to 30, and every 10 points it hits, there's a chance of a churn event where like something can kind of happen that's you can't control. The players can't control. So an example of one of mine was the players like disarmed this like trap on an airlock, and there was a bomb on it, and they went to the airlock, they went to the station, did their thing, and there was a churn event, and like they rolled it and something happened. They're like, well, what happened? I'm like, you don't know. And as they're leaving, they come back to the airlock and they can see bouncing around the airlock is the bomb they disarmed, and they forgot about. They never said they taped it down or secured it or took it with them. And I was like, yeah, it's just bouncing, floating around there. What do you want to do? And they're like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, it's just another challenge. But it wasn't me being a jerk, like to give it to them this, and it wasn't me being like I'm gonna be like a brutal DM. It's just like, hey, this is just something you have to deal with now because stuff happens.
Yeah, right. But that's a fun, like, kind of connective tissue between kind of what things that you do make a difference to your future self. You may be borrowing joy from your character's future. Yeah.
One thing that was in Drawny, and we were talking about, you were talking about how you're a big Expanse fan, was the setting. And before we came on air, you were spending some time with the book and looking through the art.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could like just tell us about like what you think about the setting, what do you think about the book, just anything like that. So I'd love to hear from you about that.
So for me, I think what I really love about this world is that it feels so lived in, because it's already time has passed since space travel was made possible to people. People have adapted. Like often, a lot of these games are like new frontier, and you're going and you're exploring and you're working with the basics. But no, you're living in a world where this is the norm. And there is something very appealing to me about how that is imagined, right? I mean, she's on the cover, my queen,
Oh
Christian.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, as a South Asian woman, I'm like, I love you. But
I love the character, and the actor is
yes,
just
Shore
phenomenal.
Agneshu is,
Oh,
yeah,
she's incredible and so good to Expanse fans.
yeah.
So generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not usually a fangirly kind of person, but I think if I ever saw her in person, I would faint.
Well,
But
well earned. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I think that's what appeals to me most about the setting is there's so much to do because so much has been established and there's so much you can pull from because you don't have to come up with necessarily how this would work because the incredible creators have figured that out for you. The mechanics in the book have figured that out for you.
You
You
bring-
just need to, like,
Find yourself in that space.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a certain freedom and liberty to that, and it allows me to think in ways that I haven't before. So
It's
I've
exciting.
played the game once, and I need to do it more often, is what I'm thinking. But yeah.
Well, so do I, as a matter of fact. But I was also going to mention that this is based on the books.
Yes.
And I think this puts us right now, we've got Beyond the Ring, which puts us around book 4 or 5. Is that?
It puts us pre-book 5, yeah, between
Yeah.
book 4 and 5, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
4.5?
Yeah, you're right. Sure. Yeah. And so, but what's great about it is the TV show still informs it, but it's not based on the television at all. Our license is with the author, and what I'm excited about is what's to come. Like, there's just there's so many different directions to go in. Like, what do people like? What are their jobs? What are get into some of those things that you don't really get to dive into that really appeal to tabletop role players.
Well, I mean, that was the premise of Abrax's Precipice was schlubs in space.
Yes, yeah.
And I had my students, one of my classes, we read the first 2 Expanse books in the class, and when they read the first few chapters, my students were like, "This is about people's jobs in space." And I'm like, yeah, just jobs in space. That's it.
That's
come on,
it.
but
That's
that's how it kind of starts. And I think from there you can spin it out to like what you want and what you need. But I think that's the beauty of it. Is people get caught up in it, and that's Abrax's Precipice's premise is that how do the people that just like kind of are there get caught up in this history that's unfolding around them? How do they deal and how they manage?
Yeah.
And that's what we did in Abrax's Precipice year 2 was on the background of Caliban's war was deal with the refugee crisis. How do you manage a refugee crisis where you have to go millions of miles with bottles of air from space to space? How do you deal with that? What's what do they do when they get there?
Yeah, and
So-
that is one of the interesting pieces of this whole experience. Is it's not like you can ruin it with a cell phone call, right? I mean, like you've got to wait for that ship to get to you, and it could be some
It
time.
takes time. Yes, time and space is what you need, and
Yeah.
it's a rough situation. But yeah, what kind of stories would you guys be interested in talking, telling in this kind of world? I'm kind of curious now. I'm gonna steal them.
Do you want to go for it? Go for it. I think there's so many possibilities, but for me, the struggle of the underdog is always. I think that always hits home for a lot of people, but which is why I love like the Belter narrative
Yeah.
across the stories and like the show and even the book that as I'm reading. I'm on the first one right now, so I think playing a Belter character and like exploring their journey as like from like an underdog from like the underbelly of
Working
series
class,
to like
yeah.
like finding their place in the larger sort of like scheme of things. I think that's a journey I would love to explore, and like so much of that struggle speaks to me because it's so human at the end of the day, right? Like all of the struggles, like whether it's Martian or the humans or the Belters, everything is rooted in struggles that humanity has currently faces, and the mistakes we seem to keep on making.
Right.
And
The
I
the corporations and I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on in the
Yeah.
Expanse that it feels so familiar in some ways.
What about you, Dimple?
Yeah.
Do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big political intrigue nerd, so I think I like to build on that, and the people who are caught up in these things that don't know it. I
Right.
think that makes for just a really, really excellent story when people are like, "This is political drama that I didn't even know I was getting involved in, and now I'm stuck.
And now I'm in it. Yeah.
What do I do next,
Things
or
are
how
not
do
as
I
they
deal
seem.
with this?
Yeah.
Do I become a part of the monstrosity?" And when you're talking about politics and Expanse, you're not just talking about like a city or a state. You're talking about interplanetary,
Religions
like
and
all
corporations.
kinds
and,
of things that can, if one thing goes wrong, it can make all kinds of world-breaking drama, and I
Yeah,
love that.
That's awesome. You know what I love as well about the way that the author kind of prepared these people, these kind of factions, is that no one's dumb. Like it wasn't just like the working class are a bunch of dum dums. There's the palace intrigues and sort of the clever solutions to stuff are not sort of put in the hands of one class or something. But
Yeah,
it's
and these are regular people. These are not like superheroes that are in here. You're playing regular people,
yeah.
and I think that makes it even more like dramatic because you know that you're just another person.
I think it also makes it easier to role play because it's you don't have to come in and being like, forsooth, however, so if I speaketh unto thee,
Yeah,
like yeah,
for sure.
which is that's how I role play. No one invites me back. So listen, John, you go ahead, John.
Yeah, I was gonna say because you're talking about the politics. That was a major thing in our towards the end of Abrax Express's year 2 was dealing with like Anderson Dawes and Fred Johnson want to unite the OPA, and it's like these people have different beliefs on what that is. Inaros he's a Belter supremacist. I mean, there's a part in one of the books where he's like someone mentions like the idea of the concept of up and down. And he's like, that's an Earther idea. You will not talk about that here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like this hardcore. I mean, he's a Belter supremacist, and like that's kind of the thing is like the factions are kind of having to navigate and like reunite, and so it's even a matter of like what does it mean to be like OPA? What does it mean to be Martian? And those are different things. And even we talk about the underdog story that shifts. I mean, Mars starts to fall apart.
Right,
and
right.
It's a huge element of it. So I love all those dynamics, and I think that's the beauty of it too. Is you have 9 books of like official story canon you can like play with, or you can just do what you want. I know people that are running this, using this game just for their own RPGs and what they want to do, and I think it's a beautiful system. Just
It is.
itself.
It's designed really to be pieces that you can use.
The ship combat is dope. Like that's one of my favorite
Expanse
parts.
as well.
Ship of the Expanse is dope.
There's ship combat.
Yes.
Yeah, hold up.
So ship combat, everybody gets to do something. There's like you have like it opens up with who's ever like the leader of the ship issuing orders, and then that generates stump points that everybody can pull on. And then you have like your electronic warfare stage. It's actually interesting. There's no roll to hit with weapons on the ships because the weapons are all AI controlled. It's more about dodging and trying to like mess with the other ship's sensors. So it's really cool. And there's like ship stunts and everything. Yeah, it's a. I'm sorry. I'm glad I got that reaction on there. You get all that?
I sure did. Yeah, I sure did. But that's exciting. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely.
But I also say I just met these 2 people and they're awesome. But here's the thing. That's the beauty of Gen Con. That's the beauty of conventions. We come together, or we geek out, and we have different things we want to geek about, but we also have common things. And like I was just like, hey, let's talk about this. And thanks, and Troy Greenrunner, thanks for giving us this cool forum.
Absolutely a blast. John, we love working with you. Absolutely. Our 2 new friends, and I want to. These books are yours, so take those with you and enjoy them. And
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for spending time with us. Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Like this is the kind of thing that I love to do, and so having me here to talk about these kind of things, I'm super hyped.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's the deal: if you end up streaming, sorry, I'm blowing out my microphone, but if you end up like getting ready to stream, you let me know, and we throw some prizes, we do some stuff, we get bundles together, and make it a big deal for everybody. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for the book, and thank you for telling me about the ship combat. Oh my god, we need to talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for
Well,
having me on stream.
yeah, absolutely. And so we'll have you back again for the next stream this coming SundAGE. We'll have it'll be the 4th. I'm kidding. But thank you all for hanging out and having a chat with us, for being so willing just to dive right in. It's the thing I love about Gen Con. And John, we love you and appreciate all the stuff that you do. And you're building community, and we appreciate it. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you're watching this on video on demand, you can actually send us a note. It's let's play at greenronin.com. You can ask some questions. We are going to provide links to everybody's stuff so that you can go visit and support and follow. And then if you're doing something, let us know. We want to know all about it. Give us a heads up if you're streaming. Even if you're not streaming, take a picture of your group as you're playing around the table. We really want to know what's going on with you, because that's the fun part. That's why we're doing it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.